Welcome to the HMO Property Show by investors for investors. Brought to you by the HMO Property Co, Australia's leaders in impact investing. Investments made with the intention to generate a measurable, beneficial social or environmental impact alongside a positive financial return. Catch us weekly as we discuss all things cash flow positive property investing.
Welcome back to the HMO Property Show. I'm your host, as always, Neil Gibb, and today I've got more of my friends who I wish they were coming to see me in Perth, but they're based in sunny Queensland. It's Joel and Bianca from Echo Property Group. Whee!
Hey!
How are you all doing, guys?
We're good, mate. Apologies we didn't come over. I just want to put that on the table right now.
We are coming just another day.
Good.
Looking forward to catching up, mate. Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. But we've been friends now since about 2015-ish.
Yeah, 16 or something like that. Yep.
Isn't it crazy how your circle of friends all seem to be doing the same sort of thing?
Same sort of thing, yeah.
So you
All
guys
on
have
the
been
same journey.
in property in the rooming house space over in Queensland for quite a while now.
Yep. 2018, we sort of got into the rooming house, co-living sort of space up here. And going from strength to strength.
And were you doing property stuff before you got into rooming house?
Just standard investing, mate. Yeah. So, the buy and hold sort of strategies. We joined an education program.
It was probably 2016.
I think that was 2016.
And that was really like wanting to get our head around like different strategies and what was going to work for us. And you were sort of further along in your property journey than I was. He's a little bit older than I am.
Not that you can tell.
And yeah, we sort of, you'd been investing and I was really interested in getting started and, wanting to know what was going to be the right thing. So we went on this education path first, really.
Really just broadened our minds, of like what's possible. Just, you just start looking and, seeing things a little bit differently about what's possible in the property space and stuff that, you didn't even, I think, but prior to that, like I didn't even know what a subdivision was as an example, and then it's like opens your eyes up to things like that. Before that, it's like you make money in property through renovating. That's how it's done. And you don't like, I didn't understand all those other things that can also happen behind the scenes, the other strategies. So yeah, definitely opens your mind up a lot. And I just grabbed it and ran with it and just immersed myself. And then you meet people along the way, such as yourself, and it's just a journey, isn't it?
It is, mate. It absolutely is. And I was going to say there, like, how important has it been in these education programs and being around people that are doing similar things to what you're doing or trying to do things that are similar to what you're doing and kind of bouncing ideas off them and seeing that you're not the only people going through the struggles that you're going through.
Yep, 100%. With property comes problems and with problems come solutions. And I think it's how you address those solutions is the key, rather than sort of burying your head in the sand. And it's definitely, valuable being able to bounce those problems off other people, because there's a lot of other people that have been doing this a lot longer than we have who, probably go, hey, look, try this, or, this might work. So it's definitely very valuable, mate. Yep. Being in that circle and having a community like that.
And there's always problems as well, isn't there?
That's it. It's like pretty much the only guarantee in property. It's not if, it's when. And having that circle of people around you and, coming up with different solutions and working through. But I think, you never know who's in that network that may have dealt with a similar thing, or they know who you can speak to. Like, it's just, if you want to play in this space, your network's everything, isn't it?
Yeah. And what was it that kind of first drew you both to real estate? Were you together when you got into real estate, or did you just meet through real estate?
We actually met. So no, we didn't know each other first, and I'd invested in a few just buy and hold properties.
Yep.
And we're actually sitting in one of our developments at the moment, and there was an old house on here that I'd been working away in the mines, and I'd come home and I was renting the upstairs level of the house out. I was living downstairs, and Bianca they were having a party upstairs, and Bianca was actually at that party, and they said to me, "Oh, you want to come up? You want to come up?" Yeah, so I went up there, and we actually met in the house, which is now demolished. We demolished the house.
It's a bit sad.
Was that
Yeah,
the
it
beach
was
house?
a sad day.
Hey.
Was that the beach house?
That was the beach house.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
The little yellow Queenslander. So we met there, and then Bianca was telling me how much I should be, what a good idea it would be to put a pool in the backyard. She was telling me that. And
I spent a fair bit of time there. I was just like, big backyard, there's plenty of room. But yeah, so you had different plans for the block then.
I did.
Originally.
I was just starting to get into, like, trying to figure out what development was and what I could potentially do with the block. And so I was just in the very early stages of sort of trying to figure all that out myself. And now here we are sitting in a brand new development in the backyard where the pool would have been.
It's all right. It's got a rooftop. We can see the ocean. It's fine.
Perfect. Who needs a pool when you got the ocean on your doorstep?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And what were
for
you
me,
doing, Bianca? What were you doing before you got into real estate?
Funnily enough, my first job out of school, I was like, I'm going to be a real estate agent. I'm going to be in the property space. And I wasn't quite old enough to get my license. So I was a PA. So I was in the space and always really interested, but ended up working in different industries, doing different things. And I was just as I met Joel, I was at the point where I was really starting to look at different options. And a lot of what I was looking at the time I didn't realize until we got educated, but I'm like, all these negative cash flow properties, I'm like, this is just a trap. Like, that was the feeling when I was going to buy my first property. I'm like, I'm going to be stuck in a job. I won't be able to travel. Like, these were the things that I was going through. And yeah, it was just interesting that we sort of met, and I was in that space of looking for something at the time. And then, yeah, we sort of ended up traveling together, and then it was like property together.
It wasn't long after we met that we bought that little renovator.
Yeah.
I don't think that was that.
It wasn't that long. It was sort of like, oh, we found these education programs and we started learning. And, when we talk to clients all the time, like, everyone's starting at a different point in their property journey. And for me, it was like, I really needed equity. Like, I had enough to buy a house, but it was like, we needed to do something to manufacture some growth. And I always say to people, buying your first house, I think, is the hardest. Getting that deposit and like getting in the door. Once you do that and you're working with the market, providing you buy something decent, you start to see progress a lot quicker. But yeah, the first one, I found that the hardest, me personally.
Yeah, saving up the deposit, definitely.
Yeah.
So
did you say that you both got into a renovation together quite early on in the relationship?
Yeah. How long do you reckon we've been?
That lit tested
maybe
many
not that
relationships,
early.
that wouldn't it?
Joel's backpedaling now. He's like, maybe it wasn't that early. Like,
It's 2017. What do you mean?
it was probably about a year.
Maybe a year into it.
Yeah. So, and looking for the right opportunity and taking the step and things like that. But yeah, we ended up with this cute little rundown old house, perfect for a renovator, and lived in it for 12 months, renovated it, and sold it.
We spent 265 grand. It's probably worth 600 grand now, but like, good little first home for someone, add some value. We renovated it. Took us way longer than we expected to renovate it. And then, I don't know, we made... Yeah. We were doing a lot of work ourselves, and then got a mate in to give us a hand. I think we made about 60 or 70 grand. Our goal was, if we come out even, we just didn't want to make a loss. It's like, cool, let's learn along the way. If we come out even, we're happy.
That's how green we were at the time. It was like, let's not make a loss.
Yeah.
Like, the bar was really high. So, we made some money, and by that time, that with the original deposit and the education that we had, we'd figured out what our next step was, and we were pretty much ready to go into a development.
Yeah, next one was a duplex.
Straight from a reno to a duplex.
Straight up, yeah.
Yeah, we've done some other renovations on houses that you already
Oh,
owned.
yeah.
And we did some stuff in our super. Like we did what we could in the meantime, and then we got ourselves ready just to kind of hit the ground running after that.
Yeah, set up. Yeah, because we'd set up a self-managed super fund. I know you're big on SMSFs as well, mate, and like being such a good vehicle to do stuff in. And we had some money in super, so we combined it, went and bought something else, and did a little rooming house conversion.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So what is rooming for everybody out there knows? We talk about HMOs over here in Perth because we don't have a rooming house policy, but what is it over there and what's the policy around it?
Mate, very, very similar to, I'd say, to what you guys do over there. So it's the definition is for someone to occupy one or more rooms within a house, really. So they can't occupy the whole house. So it's quite similar to a HMO. There are different ways you can do it over here in Queensland. In that there's easier ways and there's more difficult ways. So the easier ways is to do it under accepted development. A new planning exemption came in December last year due to the housing crisis that we've been facing, and it's opened us up to being able to do it statewide with a maximum of 5 people. So I think you guys can do 6, yeah? Yep. So maximum of 5 people. Anything above that, it's a full council application. Doesn't matter what council you're in, it's a full council application. So, you know, we're definitely big believers of less is more. So, you know, not trying to push more than the 5, and then you're dealing with council, and you know, you're going to come up with all different sorts of hurdles then once you get, you know, as you know, getting council involved. So we stick to doing it, you know, the easiest way possible, and that's accepted development. Some councils still are charging infrastructure charges, which is basically a council contribution to the water and sewage supplier, and also a contribution to council. We try to stick clear of those councils that are doing that, that are charging that, because it really makes it difficult for the project to stack up. But do you guys get charged infrastructure charges over there at all?
We don't for HMO, no. But we also don't need to register anything with council because we still fall under the definition of a dwelling. So we do the fire safety upgrades that you guys do as well. But we only really need to go to council for a build permit for the alterations that we do to the property. So which just sounds very similar to what you guys do, because time is money in these things as well. If you're doing a competition, you want to be in and out and get tenants in there as soon as possible, don't you?
That's it. So over here, 4 or more people, you've got to register with residential services. Depending on how the building's laid out will also depend on whether or not you need to register. So sometimes if they're in what, you know, would appear to be sort of a self-contained sort of scenario, you don't have to register. If people are sharing bathrooms, sharing, you know, different facilities, they don't, in other words, they don't have their own, you definitely do need to register. So it just depends on how it's all laid out, will depend on what steps you need to take.
Is there any shires or council that you kind of avoid over there because they're just difficult to deal with, or the infrastructure charges are too high?
Unfortunately, some of our colleagues have just been hit with an infrastructure charge on the Gold Coast. We've been doing it on the Gold Coast since COVID, like just before.
But even prior to that, we did a first one down there in 2018.
2018, we did our first
conversion down there, and it's only very, very, very new.
Very new. So it's come in just this financial year. So 1st of July, it's came in, which is it's a big shame, mate. So down there, I mean, the amount of people that flocked from the south up to, you know, the Gold Coast and Sunshine Coast and everything during that period was, you know, it was huge, and it was just put such a strain on the housing supply. And, you know, we just couldn't create enough rooms there's people just lining up to get into rooms. And there's still huge demand down there. And if the council they've implemented these infrastructure charges, it's going to put a stop to being able to produce it down there. The numbers just won't stack up, so an investor won't go through with it. So Our colleagues down there are sort of working with council at the moment to try and overcome that, so that we can continue doing stuff down there, because it's definitely needed. Yeah.
What sort of how much are the infrastructure charges?
So it ranges from council to council. So anywhere up to 22,000 a room.
Per room?
Per room.
Wow.
So you get a credit for the
What-
existing charges that have already been paid. So when you go and create a block of land, the original developer, pay roughly $30,000 infrastructure charge on that block. If you create 5 rooms, you're up at 100 grand infrastructure charge. You get a credit for your 30, so you're sitting at around 70. That's the worst case.
Yeah.
Some less than that, but yeah, it's only came out late last year, and so we're still navigating through which councils are going to be favourable and going to want to see this style of accommodation, and which councils are making it more difficult. And so yeah, it was a bit of a shame with the Gold Coast there, because we'd done so many there, and it was a surprise, that's for sure. That particular one was 60 something thousand. Yeah.
It's a lot of money, hey?
It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
On top of your purchase costs, if you're doing a conversion, your conversion costs, if it's new construction, you've got all those other costs. We personally, when we're working with clients, we want to know what those infrastructure charges are going to be ahead of time. It's cool, the deal still stacks up, or if there are infrastructure charges, look, it's not going to be feasible, let's not even go near it. So they're the type of things that when navigating where to do this and where it's going to really do well, that is one of the biggest things that we take into account.
Brisbane City Council have had standalone rooming accommodation policy since 2014. So they've been ahead of the game, and that means, so since 2014, we've been able to do it under accepted development, requiring no council application. So it's been a really good thing. And it would be other councils. I mean, Brisbane's the capital. Other councils should be seeing what they're doing and really follow their lead and sort of implementing what they've implemented. And some definitely are, and some aren't. So yeah, we're just playing the ones that are.
Exactly. It goes back to that, the path of least resistance, isn't it? And just trying to get it done as quickly as possible.
Yeah,
that's it.
100%.
What's the market like over in Queensland at the minute? Because at Perth right now, we've got the lowest vacancy rate we've ever had at 0.4, 0.5%, which is just bonkers. And we've got about 5,000 properties on the market for sale. And 2.1 million people live in the state. So what's it like over in Queensland at the minute? Is it as bad as this?
No, it's not that bad, mate. So
definitely low vacancy rates.
Yeah,
similar.
We've still got low vacancy rates. In terms of the sales market, it's not the heat isn't where it was 12 months ago, 18 months ago, where you just there'd just be multiple offers on the table with people not even viewing the property. That's definitely disappeared, but they're still seeing really good sale prices in particular areas. So look, the market's still quite strong. The rental market's definitely quite strong. To give you an idea, we just finished a project of our own. I'd done a FISO of each room at $320 a room, and we're getting 2 rooms at $450, 2 at $360, and 2 at $350. So there's definitely still a market. Definitely still a rental market there. It's probably not as bad as it was though. But yeah, we're in some areas, same thing, mate. 0.4, 0.5% vacancy rate.
Yeah.
So, and especially for the style of accommodation that we're creating, there's more and more singles and couples requiring a larger percentage requiring accommodation, as opposed to families of 4 or 3 or whatever. So yeah, we just you can't create enough of it. It sounds like you guys are quite similar over there.
Yeah, well, it's interesting that you say that as well, because over here I feel like it's still relatively new. There's been student accommodation set up around universities, which was really low standard. 6-bedroom, 3 bathrooms, so everybody's sharing a bathroom. And then obviously, you know, the accommodation we bring, fully ensuited, highest standard. We're, you know, at the minute we're doing feasibilities on properties very similar to you guys, and they're coming in a lot higher per room, which is incredible for our clients, because we go back and go, guys, sorry, we stuffed your fees up. It's actually came in a lot higher than what we thought. So it's a good phone call to be making, isn't it?
Yep.
Good phone call to be making. But you mentioned there, Joel, that the rooming house policy has been in Brisbane City Council since 2014. And when you're in this space, it feels like everybody's in that space. It feels like everybody you talk to is HMO. Or, do you feel like there's a point that it could be saturated in any way?
Well, not any time soon. Personally, just with the amount of migration and everything that's coming to Australia, I mean, we still need to house all these people. So, I mean, in Brisbane, I'll give you an example. In Brisbane, like I said, it's been around since 2014. I'd say, you know, the first few years were quite slow. People were getting their head around it. What is this new thing? And et cetera, et cetera. Now, you know, there's multiple builders down there building, you know, 100 a year each.
Yeah.
And there's still, the room rates they're getting range from $330, $340 a week to $400 a week. Still. And we're 9 years down the track. Yeah. So definitely in some, you know, more regional areas, if you do too many, if there's too many, you know, condensed in one smaller regional area, I'd say, yeah, absolutely, there's potential there for it to be saturated. But in more of those metro areas, I mean, yeah, Brisbane's just a good example of it being around for quite a long time, and there's still filling rooms at really, really good rates.
Yeah, excellent. We feel the same here. I mean, what we've achieved so far, I feel like we haven't even scratched the surface. Yeah. And there's a few more people moving into this space now. Obviously, Perth is a pretty hot market. Like you said, the heat's come out of Brisbane now. I think everybody's over here investing here. But that's just market cycles, right? So right now, Perth's got a lot of eyeballs on it. There's a lot of people investing. We're still buying properties for our clients, but we're up against East Coast buyers agents that, sight unseen, are just putting ridiculous offers in on properties just to secure something for the clients. So we're obviously up against that at the same time, but same as you, we're seeing more and more singles and couples entering the market, try and get access to accommodation. And age range wise for us, we've got like 18 to 74-year-olds living in these properties. Are you seeing something similar over there?
100%. Yeah.
Yep. It's such a, and you know, traditionally, like everyone sort of thinks when they start talking about rooming accommodation, and I'm sure it's the same for HMO, people just naturally assume, oh, it's younger people. It's for younger people. But it's just like the demographic is so broad, and you know, it's actually really scary how many more mature age people also take it up. Like, you know, they don't really have a better option. So yeah, it's and they love it. We actually got an email from our property manager from one of the tenants that recently moved in. And it was just this lovely, like, she wasn't sure about living in sort of like a co-living rooming accommodation situation. And it was just this glowing email saying how much she loves it and how lovely everyone is. And, you know, she just is beyond pleased with it. So I was like, oh, that's, you know, it's so good to continue to hear that. And especially from a tenant that was skeptical as well, like, you know.
Do you get to speak to many of your tenants? You get feedback from them on the accommodation that you bring to the market?
Not so much. Like, I suppose we're not personally in the property management space. So if we do hear, it's usually
via the property manager.
But yeah, we definitely get feedback, and you know, all feedback's welcome. So
yeah, all feedback is good feedback.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. So
how does it make you feel when you got that feedback from the girl just recently, though?
Yeah, it was good. It was warm and fuzzy. I would put it like, it was like, you know, we were chuffed.
Yeah,
we were chuffed. Yeah.
and she was, when, I don't know if I said, she's in her like mid 60s, 70s, like, so she was more mature age tenant. Yeah, so she was, you know, not who people typically assume, and she loves it. Absolutely loves it. So.
Brilliant. It's always good when you know that the things that you're doing are being appreciated by the people that use them, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, mate. And it's just funny, I guess, like even our own friends, we spend a lot of time with them and they're still, some of them are just struggling to get their head around what we're actually doing and what we're providing. Hey, and it's just funny having the discussions with them. So how much does that room rent for? You can see the cogs are ticking over. It's like,
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I'm starting to get a lot of friends that are not a lot of friends, but starting to get friends reaching out to me now, going, "So, what do you do again? What, like, can you talk me through it? Like, let me know what the numbers look like." Da 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 da. So, look, if I get to influence some of my friends and help them get from where they are to somewhere close to where we are, then that's incredible. And then you get
Yeah,
to put people
absolutely.
into good quality accommodation at the same time. It's just a win-win, isn't it?
It is.
Yep,
Yeah.
definitely, mate. Definitely.
So tell us about Echo Property Group then. When did you set it up? What are you doing in there?
Yeah.
Tell us some of the wins that are going on.
Things going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we kicked off Echo Property sort of mid
May or something like
yeah,
that, a
May
year
last
ago.
year.
Yep.
And, that came from a place of, we've been doing our own projects and, yeah, basically living and breathing in this space, particularly the rooming accommodation. Also, like, we do a lot of duplexes, small scale subdivision. So we basically, decided we're going to help other people achieve what we've achieved for ourselves. And, we were talking about it before. I was like, sometimes people ask us, well, it's like, well, why don't you retire? And it's like, we're in our 30s, like, we don't want to retire. We're not, it's not our plans are like to move forward and continue growing our portfolio and, to be able to do that for ourselves and help other people do that too. Like, that's the trajectory that we're going on. So, yeah, when we kicked off Echo, it was natural to sort of, positive cash flow properties, something we've always been passionate about ourselves. Small scale development, it's a great way to get uplift as well. And we really tailor the service that we provide to people by understanding what their goals are. Like I mentioned before, no one's in the same spot when they're in their property journey. So we really dive into what they're trying to achieve and then help tailor, what are the right steps to help them build their portfolio. Because some people are in, more established part of their life and they're like, just get me cash flow, let's go. And these high yielding properties are perfect for them. And then sometimes we get people that reach out to us that they sort of might have one or two properties and they're trying to get their head around how they continue to move forward. They might be starting to push up against that ceiling where their borrowing's maxed out, and they're sort of looking for solutions. So we work in that space too. It's like, okay, how can we help you get the right advice from the right team to help you? We can help find the property, execute the deal on your behalf, but let's get those other things in place that we all know that are just as important as the deal itself if it's not structured right.
Yeah, you know yourself, mate, like purchasing entities and all that sort of stuff, and getting the right advice around that, which will help you to continue moving forward. Because you can stuff those things up, and it can hold you back from being able to build that portfolio that you want to build. So
Yeah, we call it setting yourself up for success.
yep, perfect.
That's it.
It's
That's
funny
it.
what you mentioned there, Bianca, as well. People say, if you're making all this money, why don't you just retire? I mean, I went on holiday just recently for 4 weeks and I was bored after the first week. I was like twiddling my thumbs going, I'm like itching to get back into something, like
Yeah, 100%.
at our age. I mean, you're younger than me, so retirement at this age can be pretty boring, can't it?
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah. And if you enjoy what you're doing as well, it's not saying you don't look at it like it's a job, and I really enjoy the property stuff. I really enjoy the creativity of creating floor plans and, looking at a site, what can we do with it? How can we maximize the site? I get fulfillment out of that, and being able to help people do that as well is also really good. But also, we want to continue on with our own developments and everything, and yourself, you do need serviceability. There's an aspect of that you want to keep moving forward. You do need some sort of income coming in, and it's not uncommon for banks to shade your rental income that that the rents that these properties are producing. So you need some income from other areas as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you've got a client that comes in and let's say they want cash flow, how are you analysing the market in Queensland, and how are you crunching the numbers in a feasibility? What are the big things that you look for in a project?
Yeah, sure, mate. So the biggest, like when they first come to us, is really their budget. So if someone's budget, let's just say their overall budget's 700 grand, well, it's unlikely that we're going to be able to do anything in Brisbane, as an example. So we'll look elsewhere. We've got other areas that we work in, that we've tested the market. We know what the vacancy rate's like, so we know that there's going to be strong rental demand there, and look for a suitable site in one of those areas that's suitable for their budget, so that they can get in there and get a good outcome for them.
Yeah. And when you're looking for room rates, do you have a set kind of room rate that you need to achieve to purchase a block of land for a certain price, which is then determines what your construction price is going to be, so you kind of reverse engineer it?
Yeah, so we've obviously got a feasibility spreadsheet that we work with. So when we're testing the market, I'll test it out there, and for whatever amount that is, might be $300, get a really good hit rate. Okay, cool. We know there's a market there. Plug it in. We've got a pretty good idea of what our build costs are going to be, depending, obviously site driven, but generally speaking, pretty good idea what the build costs are going to be. We know what land is going to be in particular areas that we're looking in, so we can plug all that in a feaso and just work out, yep, cool, this is definitely looking like a good deal, or look, the numbers don't stack. Let's look for something else. Yeah.
Yep. And then have you got any ways, do you negotiate on the land for your client, and then help them through the design phase and construction as well?
Yeah, so there's two. We take them from land acquisition right through to construction, right through to property management and furniture package. So that's everything, mate. So take it through quickly. So negotiate on the land, get the land under contract, designs. We facilitate all the designs, get them priced up, get a contract, build contract together. Go unconditional on everything. We try to get a build contract priced up, and it doesn't always work like this, but we try to get it all priced up and get a build contract and land and go unconditional on the whole lot in one foul swoop. And then see the construction side out, project manage that, make sure everything's happening the way it should be. The back end, offer a furniture package and project property management.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, as you're both working together, and you set the business up just over 12 months ago now, and it probably leads back to those who renovate together stay together as well, don't they? So when you're working together, how do you divide and conquer? Like, have you got set roles that you both do, or do you muck it together and do it together? Like, what's your way of managing it?
We've definitely got our set roles, and I think probably like strength driven as well. Like, each of us, we're actually quite opposite in our way of doing things.
Because I'm really good with tech and computers.
Yep, you are.
Yeah, really good.
Not so great, but it's all right.
I've got you to help me.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for. But I think we work to our strengths, and like I really focus on I guess the front end, and helping people understanding what it is we do, how we can help, nutting out what their goals are, and really trying to understand how we can best work together and help them through that. Once we're in that phase where we're sourcing opportunities and things like that, basically Joel is with them from start to finish, and then I'll remain sort of involved from a communication aspect, just to keep them updated with where we're at in the project. So as much as you work with the clients directly, I do a lot of talking. Love the chat. And whereas like Joel, he's very good, in the work, like he's in there, he's looking for the property, he's doing the designs, like very much the focused on the detail.
Yeah, I feel like, like you said, you're the front end and I'm sort of more the back end. And then we've got it doing our own developments. Our roles change, and I'm the front end, and then Bianca's the back end.
Which one of you is the detail person?
I feel like you're the detailed person, and I kind of take you've got this, and then I'll come down and be like, what about this? So yeah, no, I think it's funny. I think it comes down to like as well, like risk profiles. I think that's quite interesting too, working together. You know, in terms of I'm lower risk than you. Yeah. So I've got more questions usually. Like,
It is. You'll be sitting there, mate. It's not uncommon for us to be sitting there during the day, and I'll get 100 questions throughout the day. I'm like her, maybe Bianca, like reading me out an email that she's writing. I'm like, why are you reading me that email? Just send it. I don't need to proofread your email for you.
got a question for you. It comes back the other way. But, it comes back the other way. I'm just kinder about it.
So I suppose the question comes down to who actually wears the trousers in the relationship then?
Yeah.
Who do you think?
Well, in our relationship, I wear them, but Joe just picks the colours and tells me what days to wear them. So
yeah, it's probably
a bit similar.
Yeah, probably similar, mate. Yeah.
No, I think we work pretty good together as a team.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It'd be, we'd be struggling if we didn't work well together in the team. Like we live together, we're working together, we run together, we're sort of doing all sorts of stuff together. So we've got to get along pretty well for that to stay harmonious, I think.
Yeah. So when people spend so much time together, sometimes it can also cause a bit of friction as well. Is there any points where you're just like, I need my space, guys?
Sometimes.
Absolutely, mate.
I think I've stopped surfing because I'm like, it's not another thing we need to do together. It's like, I'll go for a run.
Yeah. That's our separated time together. Bianca will go for a run, I'll go for a surf. And but we are looking for some office space at the moment, just to get us out of the house a bit more. We can really do our job from anywhere. As long as we can access each site, that's the main thing for us. We want to be able to access all the sites that we're working on, whether it's for ourselves or our clients, and have feet on the ground. But we only need a computer and research and a phone, so we can work from home, we can work from an office. So which I think is really, it's really, really good that we've been able to build that for ourselves, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Flexibility and so that's the next step.
Yeah. I think a good thing that me and Joe did, just thinking about your journey there, was when we got our first office, that was like the cut-off point to finish work. And then
we've spoken about that.
Yeah. So before that, we had the home office, and one of us would just keep working, the other one would be sat there thinking, like, what are we doing? So having that sort of cut-off point, lock the door, that's work, go home, let's talk about
perfect. That's exactly, we've had that similar conversation.
Touch the letterbox, it's done.
So tell us about, can you share some of the things that you're doing for your clients at the minute, like purchase price of the land, construction price, and end yield that you're expecting?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Do you want to take that one, or do you want me to? Or?
Yeah.
So one, we're just about to kick off. Slab will be going down in the next couple of weeks. Purchase price for that was $220 for the land. Construction was $450. Single story, 5-bed, 5-bath. Yep. And a little bit of retaining and stuff involved as well in that too. So good going in terms of construction. And that's all our rooming house inclusions. So your digital door locks, all your fire and safety, 5-bed, 5-bath. We've got internal acoustic bats in all the internal walls. What else have we got? 5 air cons, all sorts of stuff to make them feel and work a lot better and make them more comfortable for the end user. You guys, I know you guys use the digital door locks. Like how good are they?
Yeah. The best thing we did was eliminate keys and paper from the business. Just speeds everything up and causes less friction and saves a lot of time. I've seen some of the product that you finished just recently as well, and the finish on it is absolutely beautiful.
Yeah. Thanks, mate. I think
Mm.
that probably would have been a little conversion.
Was it the new build?
It was
A
the
new
new
build?
build, double
Oh,
story.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, no, really nice finishes and good color palette. Like, I think that's another thing. There's a bit of a stigma about, for people that aren't familiar with rooming, that it's less like, oh, people sharing, what does it look like? And it's like, these are beautiful quality built homes that, you pick nice finishes, use nice colors, and it's just like people want to live there because they look great.
Yeah, they're actually
Yeah.
awesome, aren't they?
So
I think,
yeah.
like you said there, people's perception is like a dark, dingy room, little single bed,
Yeah.
a little lamp on in the corner.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then they
Little
walk in
scabby
and they're
bed.
like, wow, I had no idea it was going to look like this.
That's exactly it, mate. And like, I think having that finished product and being able to show people through that finished product is just so advantageous because it just removes that stigma. And, we've been able to take people through them and just exactly like what you just said, like, oh, wow, this is nothing like what I thought it was going to be like. Um, yeah, let's go back to that color palettes. It's like, you guys over there, you do it so well. And, it makes the rooms and the whole house just feel so inviting. And, we're definitely taking a leaf out of your book and trying to do the same thing. And it definitely, I think getting it right definitely helps. Like we had two side by side,
Yes, this was quite interesting.
two duplexes side by side. One of the duplexes was ours, one was our business partner, and we had to choose our colours, and he's like, well, what colours are you guys going? And we said, no, you just choose your colours, and we'll just choose ours, so they just look completely different. And he chose more darker sort of colours, and we went the nice sort of like
We prefer ourselves, like some people like more darker contemporary, and it's definitely a taste thing, but we like white, we like timber, we live on the coast, like that's very much our color palette. So yeah, we ended up with this sort of like white coastal duplex, and then one that was more contemporary. It had some like monument with some nice grays, and just polar opposites really. And yeah, it's really interesting. Like some people really like the white and some people really like the contemporary. So yeah, I think that's something that we do. If people are like, what do people like? Fresh, like I feel like white's always a winner. Coastal's always a winner. And yeah, that's if people want our help with that, we
Was
can
there a
help.
difference in room rates between the two houses?
Yeah, the white, the one that we ended up, our one got higher room rates. Yeah, sort of $10 to $20 a room.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
big money over a full house, isn't it?
yeah, 100%, mate.
Yeah.
Yep.
I also just want to put a disclaimer in there as well, because I don't do any of the styling or colors or anything like that. I normally just get the door shut on me when I try and chip in on that one. So that all started off with Jo, and then she's trained the team up now. Now we've got Emma in the seat, and she's incredible. She's got all these little boards made up with different color schemes on and stuff.
Yeah, nice.
Looks
So
awesome.
good, so good.
Looks awesome.
I'll just revert back to you asked us about like that deal. I didn't end up finishing. So 220 for the land, 450 for the build. So all up the furniture and everything, it's just tad over 700K. And we're expecting room rates of around 300 a room. So 1,500 total for the week.
So it's that 75 grand. So a 10% yield.
Yeah, just over 10%. Yep.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
When you said the build price was 450 there, I was like, oh, that's not too bad. But let's go back 3 years ago. What were you building that property for then?
Probably 350.
100K increase.
Yep, 100K increase.
Big difference, eh?
There's a big difference in such a short period of time.
Yeah. Were your room rates as high back then, or have your room rates increased along with everything?
Increased with it, mate. Yeah. Yep. 3 years ago, we were only doing this in two areas, and that's Brisbane and Gold Coast. Because the planning exemption wasn't around then. We can really only compare, apples for apples, say in Brisbane as an example. So in Brisbane, same sort of thing, we were building for 350 and would be renting for around 3 to 310 back then. And now, you're looking at sort of that 450 mark and room rates, probably around 350.
Yeah. And it's still even though that's a massive increase, is it still affordable for the area?
Still affordable.
Still affordable, mate. Yeah, definitely. You know, you look at in the same area, an old, 2-bedroom apartment or something.
Even one better.
You're going to be paying close to $400 a week, and then plus outgoings, plus furniture. So it's definitely an affordable option for people. And the other option from that is to, a share house where you're sharing bathrooms with other people and all that sort of stuff, which, it's fine when you're young and you're going through uni or whatever. But, once you get a bit older, you kind of get a bit past that.
Yeah. Look, guys, it's been really good catching up with you today. It really has. How can people find out more about you? So are you on socials? You got a website?
Yeah, definitely. Yep. So we got socials. So Echo Property Group, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. We just did. We've just put together it actually started nearly 2 years ago. Well, the actual development started just about 2 years ago, where we knocked the old beach house down.
Yeah, where you met.
Where we met.
Yeah.
And when we were about to knock it down, we decided, well, we can't go back and capture this. We're like, let's create something out of it. So we basically captured it all, and we've turned it into a little mini series of the development, which is a 2-stage development. So that's actually just launching at the moment.
Yeah, it's currently launching right now. You can find it on our socials, Facebook, Instagram. Jump on there, Echo Property Group, Joel and Bianca. We're up to episode 2. The teaser was released for episode 2 was released earlier in the week, and I think episode 2 gets released tomorrow.
Tomorrow,
yep.
Awesome. How many episodes in total?
7.
Cool.
7. So take people through the highs and lows of property development. It was a tough time through that period. We were going through, that was through COVID. We were seeing all these price increases. We found a sewer main running straight through the middle of underneath our proposed building footprint that caused havoc for us. We had to reroute the sewer. It cost us a lot of time and money. We had the wettest year on record at the time, when we were just trying to get out of the ground, and it was a horrible time to be trying to build and develop. But we go through the series takes us through all that and the highs and the lows, and then there's obviously a lot more highs than lows. That's you wouldn't do it if it was the other way around.
Just good for people if they're interested in what goes on into development. We open, transparent. It's fun and games.
It is fun and games. And look, like we said at the start, we solve problems on a daily basis, don't we? And keep smiling. That's the main thing.
That's it.
Well, look, guys, it's been an absolute pleasure catching up with you both. I'm going to put your Facebook Echo Property Group link in the chat notes of the podcast, and I'll also put the website in there as well. So Joel and Bianca, thank you very much.
Awesome. Thanks mate. Cheers.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. Make sure you tune in the same time next week so you stay up to date with all the cash flow positive property updates.